The first movie I'm going to talk about is Falling Down. It was Joel Schumacher directing, Michael Douglas, 1993. It also had Robert Duvall and Barbara Hershey. It's just about this guy who's in his car, and he's trying to get home to his daughter's birthday, and just small things throughout the day, things that I go through and you go through, that just build up and build up. He goes to the corner store, and he needs change for a phone, but the soda is like 85 cents, and he needs the change. He goes to the fast food, what's it called, the Whoopi Burger? I'm not sure what it was called, but he wants some breakfast, but they just stopped serving breakfast 4 minutes ago. He's just trying to sit down and take a rest because there's a hole in his shoe. He stuffs some newspaper in there, and these gangsters come around him and start asking him what's going on.
Okay. I mean, I was willing to mind my own business. I was willing to respect your territory and treat you like a man, but you couldn't leave it alone, could you? You couldn't let a man sit here for 5 minutes and take a rest on your precious piece of shit hill? Okay. But my briefcase? I'll get it for you, all right? You can have my briefcase. Here. You want my briefcase? Here's my briefcase! Briefcase, huh? Wait a minute. Wait. Here. Get up, here. Hey, where you going, huh? Where you going? You forgot the briefcase! You forgot the briefcase!
Just, throughout the day, it's just building and building these things that are just getting to him, and he just wants to get home. You know, you have Robert Duvall, who's one of the cops, and it's his last day on the force, and he's hearing these reports throughout the station of this white guy in a tie busted up a convenience store, and this white guy in a tie went to this fast food restaurant, and he's starting to put the pieces together, and he's trying to find this guy who just wants to get home, and he's getting irritated, and he's hating everything that's going on. It's a great story. Falling Down. Go check it out. That's my first pick for anti-heroes.
So my first pick would be Jason Statham in the 2006's movie Crank.
My name is Chev Chelios, and today's the day that I die. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I've been poisoned with some kind of Chinese synthetic. You gotta do something for me, Doc.
They gave you the Beijing cocktail. It's cutting off your adrenaline. If you stop, you die.
Basically, what he's doing in this movie is trying to keep his heart rate up, just so whatever poison he was injected with doesn't kill him. And the way I see him as an anti-hero is he's basically going out and he's just picking fights with people and doing whatever he takes. Like he's riding a motorcycle and he's just like jumping up and he's doing all this dangerous stuff that could possibly kill a lot of other people. And he beats up a lot of people too, just for his own health reasons, you know. When you look at an actor like Jason Statham, there's no way you can see him do any other type of movie. You can take Chevy Chelios from Crank. You can take him from The Expendables. You can have him from The Transporter. No matter what, he is the same character in every movie. But that's just him as an actor. As an anti-hero, he does great. All of these names are anti-heroes. I mean, he doesn't want to do it, but he's got to do it. We love and we hate him, and he has to be my first pick for anti-heroes.
Is William Money from Unforgiven, 1992, won Best Picture, and then Gene Hackman won Best Supporting Actor. But Clint Eastwood in this movie, it was like perfect timing for his career to do this because he was in those old Western movies where he would gun down people, and then he went on in the 70s and he was in Dirty Harry where he was the good guy, bad guy cop. And when it came to the 90s, he was playing this role where William Money was like this gunslinger who was he would kill anyone, and he was known to be like a devil in the West. And he gets older, he needs to do some things for money. His friend Morgan Freeman comes over too. They're trying to get some guys who cut up some prostitutes in the city. He does everything he can to try and fulfill his debt to help out who he's trying to help out, but he doesn't want to become that old monster that he used to be.
She straightened me up, cleared me of drinking whiskey and all. Just because we're going on this killing, that don't mean I'm going to go back to being the way I was. I just need the money. Get a new start for them youngsters.
And so he he goes in town and he starts getting sick, and he starts having these dreams about his wife and just worms and snakes and these things. It's like the devil is creeping back into him. And by the time he gets to the end and he sees what happens to his friends and everything, there's pretty much no turning back. And he says, everything that happened in his past kind of comes back, and he just becomes that monster again. And in that moment, he just, like he says, he's always had luck with the gun. When people are shooting at him, he's just always had luck that they miss him or whatever. And so he kills everyone he wants to in the bar. And it's a great character. And at the end, when he's he's looking back at the town, he says, "None of you cut up whores again, and you better bury my friend right, or else I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill each and every one of you." And when you see the look in Clint Eastwood's eyes, you can tell he means it, because he is that thing, and he is Unforgiven. My number 2 anti-hero.
My next pick would be Vin Diesel in Pitch Black. He plays the character Riddick.
They were the only survivors on a barren planet with a deadly prisoner intent on escape.
All you people are so scared of me.
But when darkness fell,
total eclipse,
he was the only one deadly enough to fight this kind of evil.
But it ain't me you gotta worry about now.
The film that introduced Vin Diesel as Riddick, the ultimate anti-hero.
I don't know if you know the story of Riddick, but Riddick can basically see in the dark. He had some operation with his eyes. He could see in the dark. He could see where everyone else can't. So when they're out in space or in this barren land and these monsters are at them, he's pretty much the only one that can see them, because everyone's turning off their lights so they don't get killed. He somehow finds a close connection with this girl. Everyone thought there was a little boy or whatever, but she was basically a girl. And he finds this connection and he goes out of his way to save her, and that's when we kind of look at him as a hero. So for that, I mean, he sacrificed himself. He doesn't really die, but he puts himself out there. He opens up to this little girl, and they become a good pair, good dynamic duo. So that's why he makes my second pick.
All right, my favorite anti-hero, and maybe it's a little obvious, is going to be Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver.
Hey!
There's debates about Scorsese and what his best movies are. Raging Bull, Goodfellas, The Departed. But for my money, I think Taxi Driver, maybe it's more of a personal choice, because I think I connect more with that character. He's a Vietnam vet, and he comes home and he's in New York, but he doesn't know what he's going to do. He's just kind of living there, and he's like really antisocial, and the things he does do in the social setting are not like other people, because he just doesn't know how to fit in. And so he's, he tries to ask someone for a date, and he takes him to a porno theater, but he doesn't realize that it's not really an acceptable thing in that day and age. But he's at home and he's driving taxis. He just hears stories of the way people are, and he just sees the streets of New York in the 70s, and he just hates what he sees, and he doesn't like it, and he wants to clean it up, and he has all this energy. He's like a young guy who has this energy in him who wants to do something with it, and he feels it in his skin and in his body. He just doesn't know what he wants to do. You got Jodie Foster in there. Albert Brooks is great. Jodie Foster, very young. I think she was playing like a prostitute. I think Harvey Keitel was the pimp. It's weird to think of him as a pimp, but he has like the hat and the hair, and it's kind of a noir with the saxophone. But it's very dark. For my money, I think it's one of Scorsese's best movies. Taxi Driver, my favorite. Travis Bickle, my favorite anti-hero.
And my number 1 pick for anti-heroes would be Seth Gecko in the movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
Daylight liquor store robbery in Big Springs, the Gecko brothers killed another Texas Ranger. That changes the death toll to 16.
Actor played by George Clooney. He is a robber. He is a murderer. His brother is a rapist. But in this movie, he's a bad guy, because basically him and his brother, they're trying to escape to the border. They're trying to get out of town. They robbed a bank, I think killed cops or something like that. But either way, they're trying to escape the country. So they basically kidnap this family, and they're forced them to take them across the border. They're going to hitch a ride with them, whether they like it or not. They're going to get across the border. But when they stop at this little truck stop, it is a lot more than they can chew. No pun intended. Seth Gecko is forced to be a hero. He saves some lives. He's trying to keep his brother in check. I mean, he starts off there because he sees the way his brother is looking at the daughter, who is played by the actress Juliette Lewis. And he knows what he's going to do. So he actually steps in and he tells her, go put some clothes on. He pulls his brother to the side. He's like, stay focused. Don't do this. Because he knows what's going to happen if he's just given a little bit of opportunity. So not only is he keeping his brother out of trouble, but he's saving the daughter's life. He has to be my number one pick for anti-heroes, Seth Gecko from the movie From Dusk Till Dawn.